welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Wednesday.
That's right.
I am Brian. Let me bring in my special co-host. If I can figure it out. There he is. Victory Vance.
That's right. Made it in.
I just need a dictionary here with Earth, something with all the V's, so I can just say something with your name every time. It'll be new and
encyclopedia.
Yeah. Encyclopedia. What's an encyclopedia? I know that we had some
Wikipedia
on my shelf.
Same thing. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Let me hurry and go ahead and get this shared real quick, or get it available to share. Give me a second. Public. All right, Vance, that's done on my end. If you want to go ahead.
All right, I'll start setting it up.
Share it to our groups. Another week is come and gone, and man, it didn't seem like it was going to be too much of a week. The last couple of days have been pretty good.
Yeah, we've had some crazy news market going on and stuff. So
I was hoping actually, yesterday I was thinking, man, we're going to have a great show Wednesday. We're going to be able to talk about how good everything is going, and it was going very well. It's been quite well, but today we're back in the red a little bit. But I think it's because we had climbed so high the last couple of days. I mean, we saw, 10%, 20% growth on a lot of coins yesterday. So,
yeah,
kind of a fun couple of days we've had. And even though we're down a little bit, not much at all. Not much at all. So,
yeah, and I was talking with a few people online earlier today about that, and some of it I think was a lot of speculation, just with Coinbase saying, they were adding 5 new coins, or they had 5 new coins that they were looking at adding. And it was kind of interesting, I thought. Just I'm sharing here at the same time. We've got ADA is looking to be put on there. I thought that was interesting. Stellar's looking to be put on. So there was
also a couple other ones that are not really big names or anything, like Ox. And trying to think of what the other one was, but not real big names. But
I had the list here, but it's down just because I'm sharing stuff. But yeah, there's 5 on there. The 2 big ones I knew were Stellar and ADA. So, basically there was some good gains on those 5 coins. So I think Stellar went up from 21 cents to 31 cents, and today has been hanging around 28 cents since that announcement 2 days ago. So we had a decent jump in it, and then it just held there. Of course, I mean, you're right, the market and whole did, but it was kind of interesting to go look at those specific coins. ADA jumped from, I think, 14 cents to 23 cents, and then it's been holding like at 17 today. 17, 18.
Did it go all the way up to 23? Did it go up to 23?
It seemed like it did when I looked earlier. I think it peaked at that and then came back down. But
yeah, 17 right now. So
yeah, so been holding. I saw it like at 17 and a half earlier today.
And that's the one I mentioned I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago, that was around 10 cents at the time, probably a couple weeks ago. That has been over $1. A very good coin. Something that you could easily 10 times your money on with that coin, because it is a good coin, and I believe it'll be up to $1 and beyond at some point. But now it's at 17 cents. So
yeah, I think once we start seeing the market rebound, we'll see a lot of these they're going to surprise people. So I thought it was quite interesting. I've seen a lot of stuff today about how what's going to be the future of crypto, what's going on, but then at the same time, just so much in government news, really, that we've been seeing today. I mean, there was a lot going on. It was was it CFPB that met today, or sorry, CFTC that met today. So that basically this Commodity Futures Trading Commission here in the United States, and talking about how they were going to look at, CoinDesk and basically crypto here in the U.S. And if people don't understand what the difference is between the CFTC and SEC, basically the CFTC is looking at commodities. So that's why Commodity Futures Trading Commission. So that's going to be coins that are not listed as securities. So
Right.
the kind of little difference there. So basically your utility tokens will fall under it, like Ethereum. Ethereum was not listed as a security. So it's going to fall under regulation from the CFTC. So now we're looking at what's going to happen there. So today they basically were with the government today. The U.S. House Committee on, a lot of this stuff was there. Basically, the U.S. Regulatory Commission, and there was just a lot of stuff that was being talked about. And I read a few articles about that. They actually broadcast it live because we had CEOs there from like Coinbase was there. The twins were there. There was a lot of stuff. A lot of people that were big into crypto here in the U.S. were there to kind of speak their piece about it and say, don't jump to conclusions on your regulation and all this stuff quick, be easy with it. Don't be hasty. So that was, right. There was quite a bit of concern about that. But at the same time, it was really interesting to kind of see how our congressmen are not with the picture. A lot of the questions they're asking are basically stuff that we thought the SEC had gone through a year ago when they were looking at this, and a lot of them were asking why do we even need crypto? Isn't the US dollar the regulatory, monetary regular, trying to think how they said that, but basically they were thinking that the US dollar regulated the world. And I'm like, how do you even have that idea in your head that the US dollar regulates the world? That didn't make any sense to me, but literally the questions that they were talking about or asking were just like fifth grade questions almost. I mean, it was really kind of stupid with the stuff that they were doing, but you know what? That just tells you how out of tune the U.S. government has been with crypto. I mean, that's really what it comes down to and how far behind we are, with
they don't get it. So,
yeah, it was kind of concerning, I thought, on that, but at the same time, it's more awareness. And to realize that the SEC wasn't regulating commodity side. So, things like Bitcoin, stuff like that aren't going to fall under SEC. I thought that was quite interesting to learn because I didn't really understand that or realize that they wouldn't be looking at that together as well. So it was kind of interesting to see that, something that had an ICO is considered a security, but then later, after it becomes a utility token, it wouldn't be regulated by the SEC anymore. It'll go into it'll be a commodity. And off the top of my head, I've seen a lot of ICOs out there that are like utility company ICOs or for power or green energy type of stuff. That would all fall under that. If titanium wouldn't have been fake, titanium would have fallen under that category.
Right.
So there's a lot out there that I thought that brings up some really good questions on how things are going to be looked at in the future. So, but there is some good articles that came out today. It started at 10 o'clock this morning in DC and it basically went most of the day. So it's not done yet, but good questions came up and a lot of people made their piece with it saying, this is what crypto has done for the world so far and everything. So, but yeah, a lot of the old questions coming up. Well, what makes people not, basically embezzle money with this? There's a lot of the old questions we've all heard over and over and over again. So I thought that was quite interesting. So take a look at it.
One of the things I was listening to today was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about the dark web and people using Bitcoin to, commit fraud and different things, crimes and things like that.
Right.
And the guy was saying these criminals or anybody that's using Bitcoin have got to be the dumbest criminals in the world to use Bitcoin. You're better off using cash because any transaction they link to one of these guys using it, they can track everything that's happened in their wallet and every transaction they've made. And it's really not a good thing for criminals to use. So
right, and I think they did bring up a case about that too, about how just recently with the Bitcoin blockchain they were able to find or conduct a an investigation and found basically 12 of the Russian hackers, that
Right.
they've been are looking for. So just off the Bitcoin blockchain, because they were able to trace their addresses.
I think that's where I'd heard it from too, and it's all they need is one transaction to link it to them, and they can find out all the rest of their transactions in the blockchain. So it's pretty cool. Another thing that I thought was very interesting was using blockchain for. Everybody thinks of it as cryptocurrency right now, and for money and stuff like that. When in reality, there's a lot of different uses for blockchain technology. It is a ledger, and one of the things that they were talking about was using it for mortgages and having mortgage documents and stuff on there, because it will not allow anything to be changed. And if something is changed, it will be notified, and because the decentralized servers on all the different computers and stuff, someone tries to change it, the other ones they're going to reject it because it's not true. And they brought that up because we've had some incidences with a bank and their mortgages going and changing mortgage documents after the fact. And I won't bring out any names and discriminate against anybody here, but
we've seen some large banks that have been sued over that in the past couple of years with the auto signing on loans and all that stuff too. So
and that's one of the ones. The bank I'm talking about is very large, and so definitely, I'm sure you know who it is, being in the mortgage business. And
it's not that hard to just do a Google search and find it. But anyway, I think that's quite interesting.
So if your mortgage documents are online, it cannot be changed, and I think that's a great security for homeowners and things like that. So. As well as any documents that you want protected could be on the blockchain and could never be changed. Think about patents and trademarks and all the different things that you could use it for.
Right.
It's pretty cool technology.
But I just went and took the articles from today's hearings and put them up in the Crypto Millionaires page. It's not a group, it's just the page. So if you're in the group, you already have a link to it. But that's where all the articles not pertaining to Electroneum or any of the other coins go to. So anyway, go take a look when you get some time, and they're not long reads, but they'll give you an overview of what's going on and what they're talking about. So kind of interesting.
Throw that up on the screen. So. Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit of the money situation with Bitcoin this week. We haven't talked about that yet because I know we got a lot of news and a lot of articles and things to talk about. But if we look back at last week, Bitcoin was at $6,338. Let me refresh right here because
let's refresh real quick.
Let's see. $7,337. So, and it was a little bit higher, but from last week to now, that's $999 gain there, people. That's pretty good week.
That is. It's a real good week.
The market cap last week was 251 billion, and right now we're sitting at 287 billion. So that's up $36 billion in a week. That's a pretty good gain as well.
Yeah.
However, the Bitcoin dominance is up as well, 43.8%. So people are throwing money into Bitcoin. That's where all the gains are right there.
Yeah.
Probably $30 billion into Bitcoin.
Yeah. So which we're going to start seeing again once money starts coming back in.
So I went and watched the video, a little bit of Charlie Lee today after we talked about Advance. And so Charlie Lee is saying that you should go out, that you should buy a Bitcoin before you buy any other altcoins or anything like that, which is funny when you're talking to this. This is coming from a guy that created Litecoin, and he has an altcoin, and he's saying you should own Bitcoin first. Why do you think that is? I mean, I agree. To
I
an
think,
extent, I agree.
yeah, I think that's quite interesting too. But it's funny how creators of other coins are saying that, because why? They know that's where the money comes from.
Right.
You know, in and out of the market really is where it's coming until we get other services set up besides Coinbase, which Binance is working on right now. I mean, that's kind of going to be the majority. But what Charlie Lee, he went into a little more depth on the reason why. And let me try and explain this. You can go find the video; it's on YouTube. But you basically, he's talking about how, with all the institutional money, the wealth that's going to be coming in, which are the one percenters of the rest of the world, not the one percenters of cryptocurrency, but the one percenters that already own all the wealth in the world. Okay. Once they start coming in, like Goldman Sachs, I mean, all the Wall Street right now, we have 6 different exchanges all coming out with their own exchange, with their own crypto exchanges, looking to do that by the end of this year. So there's going to be a lot of money coming in. Now, what he's saying though, is that right now there's already a movement for the wealth, these one percenters and these institutionals, investors, to already be buying Bitcoin at a low rate, this low rate that we're at right now. Okay. Whether they're buying that through exchanges and money's coming in, or they're just buying it peer to peer, person to person, we really don't know. I mean, you won't see that on CoinMarketCap, but
Right.
The fact is, this is what they're doing. And I've heard stories of people in New York that have already set up businesses on this, that basically they're going to the uber wealthy and saying, in your portfolio, because stock market is down this year, let's try and offset that a little bit. Give me 5 million out of your portfolio. And then they go to the next person in line, same thing, 5 million, 5 million, 5 million. So basically they'll have 35, 45 million dollars at their disposal, and they'll basically go do private transactions on Bitcoin. Okay. So these people are doing that. Then what do? They put it on their ledger and they sock it away, and it's not on an exchange. It's not a transaction that you're seeing on an exchange,
Right.
or some are, some aren't. But the fact is, it is new money coming in, but it's really not a lot of money being tracked. So that's why you don't see a lot of it. But these people are taking the Bitcoin and they're holding it. Basically, they put it on their ledger, they put it in their safe, and it's gone. Okay. And when the big institutional Wall Street money starts coming in on top of this later this year, it's going to cause a FOMO account. Okay. A fear of missing out. It's really what it comes down to. And let's say the end of this year, Bitcoin, and this is kind of what Charlie Lee was saying, is that when Bitcoin maybe hits $50,000, say, in December again at the end of this year, or even when the institutional money comes back in, you're going to see the next level of investors, the millionaires, are going to start getting this FOMO. They're going to start seeing that I need to get into this because it's going up, just like we saw last year, at the end of last year. Okay.
Right.
They're going to go in and buy. Well, at $50,000 a Bitcoin, it's going to take it out of the price range of the regular investor like you and me. Even fractional ownership of a Bitcoin is going to get harder and harder and harder, because they're going to be buying a lot of it even at $50,000 a Bitcoin. Okay. And so he's saying, this is your chance. This is your chance to get in and buy a Bitcoin. Just take it, buy it, tuck it away. Okay. Before you start investing into other crypto, into other altcoins. Okay. Because why? This is what we've heard through multiple gurus, guys out there. I mean, McAfee has said it too. Bitcoin's going to go up to $250,000. Okay. Charlie Lee has actually said it will hit. He's backed it up, saying in the future, say 2025, whatever that is, in the say 5 years or whenever, it will be at $1 million. And the reason why, it's not because people are buying it at $1 million. And I understand there's a huge difference between market cap and the amount of money that's been put into it. Okay. They're two different numbers. The market cap is what, basically, let's just put it this way. It's what people are going to be willing to sell it for. Okay. So a Bitcoin is worth $1 million a coin. It's because everybody's holding it. They put it on their little ledger and put it away in a safe somewhere, or it's an institution that's actually bought it and holding it somewhere. Okay. And they're not selling it. So now the person that is selling it goes, well, guess what? I've got one of 10 Bitcoin I'm going to put on the market and sell. I want $1 million, or I want $100 million, because I've heard that it will at some point become $100 million. Because why? There's just not going to be any out there to buy.
And the supply is running out too. So
the supply is running out. So we got to look at, what's the circulating supply? We're at 17 million right now out of our 21 million. By 2020, they estimated it'll be like 18.5 million. I mean, but it's going to be harder and harder to mine at the same time. The cost of mining is going to be exponentially higher at that point in time. So people aren't going to be mining it as much because of the cost and the power and everything to generate that. There's a lot of different factors in it. But this is what Charlie is saying. Get in now. I mean, he was saying this last week. So this was at $6,500 at the price. Now it's $7,300. So what if you can't buy one Bitcoin? You got $2,000. Okay, go buy a quarter of a Bitcoin then. But that quarter of a Bitcoin, when it's worth $1 million, will be worth $250,000. And he's saying, hold on to it, because why? The big money that's coming in, they're going to buy it all up. When it's gone, they're going to move on to other coins.
Yeah.
Okay. And they'll be putting it in other projects too. But I thought this was quite interesting, after we kind of talked about this today, Brian. So what I did is I went back to June last year and pulled an article, and just to see kind of what they were saying about the future of Bitcoin and Ethereum at that time. And they were saying what's going to be worth in 2020, because in June of last year, by the way, we were in a FOMO situation in June of last year. And this is way before we hit our $20,000 mark at the end of the year. Okay.
Yeah. What were we at in June?
In June, we were
4,000.
Hold on. Let me look at the numbers. I got to pull that article back up. Look at the numbers. It was at,
might not even have been 3,000.
It was somewhere right around there. It seemed like it was like 3,200 or something like that. Dang it, I can't find it. It's quite a large article here. So
I can pull up the snapshot.
Okay, pull it up. Yeah, I was just looking at the article, but this was published in June of last year. Okay, and basically they were saying what's going to be the future of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and what are they going to be worth in 2020? So they were looking 3 years out. Okay, from 2017 to 2020. And at the time, they were saying, well, January 1st of last year, we were at 18 billion was what the market cap was. Okay. That was January 1st, 18 billion. And at that time, the market cap had jumped 18 times to 111 billion on June 13th. Okay. That's when this came out, was June 13th. So they were saying, look at the interest that's coming in. Okay. And where are we at today, Brian? 290, you said?
287.
287. So we're at 287. So we're like 150% over that right now. Okay. So or 170%, somewhere right around there. Okay. But we've been a lot higher than that. But at that time, they were saying in 2020, what is the potential based off of where Bitcoin had come from, Ethereum had come from, how much interest we had had. I think they just pulled it over from 14 to 17 just in 3 years. What the change was. Yeah. So 3 years. So basically they were saying, what the interest that we've had, with the increase that we've had, what would that put us at 2020? And I thought it was quite interesting because they're saying in 2020 that the market cap would be worth 4.5 trillion. Wow. Okay, so let's think about this. We almost hit $1 trillion last year. And this was 6 months from when they were talking at 111 billion. Okay. We almost hit $1 trillion. Now they're saying in 3 years from where they were at, we would be at 4.5 trillion for the market cap. Okay. We've already seen there's way more money than that out there right now that could be coming in less than a year. We're talking 2019. So even they didn't even see the long term when they're writing this. But let's just go off the numbers that they gave us. Okay. And they're saying that basically.
Just to cut in, just to let you know, it was $2,800 on June 11th last year.
Okay. So basically they're saying that if between Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2020 had 50% of the market. Okay. And right now they're combined. Are they at 50%? They are
Bitcoin's at 43. So I'm guessing they're pretty
but I'm saying
close.
Ethereum, but if you look at the market cap, but Ethereum's at 48 billion right now and Bitcoin's at 125 billion. Okay. So they're actually over 50% between the two of them right now. Okay. But they're saying in 2020, if they're 50% of the total market cap, all right, based off of the growth that we've had in those last 3 years, where would it be in 2020? Okay. And I thought this was quite interesting because in 2020, they were saying Bitcoin would only be at 81,000 and Ethereum would be at 15,000. Okay. And we're talking about
in what year? In 2020?
In 2020. They were saying 3 years from the date that they were doing this, which was June 13th. Okay. So of 2017. So they were saying in June of 2018, or 2020, where would we be? 3 years away. And they were saying 81,000 for Bitcoin and 15,000 for Ethereum. Okay. And I thought this was quite interesting because we're talking about that this year. I mean, that's by the end of this year, we're talking about hitting those numbers. I don't know about Ethereum, but we're talking about Bitcoin being able to hit that number by the end of this year. And this is a year ago, 13 months ago that they were talking about this. So you can see the difference in big money coming in, institutional money coming in, where 6 months ago, institutional money was downing crypto. I mean, banks were
bagging on it.
Were saying no. Yeah, banks were saying no, and the news, the news still continually says, oh, crypto is risky, don't get into it. And I mean, we can all go back 10 years ago when the housing market crashed, and what happened? All the news channels and everybody come out, oh, well, housing's risky to get back into right now after it bottomed, right? It crashed and was bought. Well, who was buying it?
The banks.
The banks already owned it, but it was the institutional guys that were doing it. And then it was the major investment firms that were coming in and buying it up at pennies on the dollar. Right. And then
so you've got it.
And the whole time the media is sitting there telling you, don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's a waste. It's too risky to get into. And what's been going on this year in the last 6 months? What's been going on? Media now still crypto is risky. Don't get in, stay away, even though they're coming around to it a little bit more. But what's happening with the big banks? What's happening with the central banks?
Well, what's funny is the banks have been saying a lot of the same stuff, but they're doing the opposite of what they're saying.
They're doing the opposite, right? They're
taking advantage of the prices while they're low. So
exactly. I mean, we even, back in, was it February of this year? We even, the Polish central bank had said that they had been putting out news articles against crypto, and in February had suddenly changed their tune and were buying it. And they admitted to putting basically anti campaigns out there against crypto, and then turned around and started buying it. And they admitted this, by the way. So you can actually go look up those articles too. So I think it's quite interesting.
That's another funny thing with like Chase Bank or whatever, and Jamie Dimon telling his employees and stuff that he'll fire anybody that he finds out that's buying cryptocurrency or whatever in the U.S. But meanwhile, has people over in England and London or whatever buying up as much as they can to put in the portfolio. So
you can say conspiracy theory, you can say get your little tinfoil hat, whatever. I don't care. But the fact is, there's too much news. There's too much just data out there that says they're doing this, guys. They're coming.
Yeah.
Big money is coming. Whether the media, and tell you the truth, big money owns the media anyway. So it still could be them telling you don't do it, because why? They're trying to buy it all up. They're still trying to be in control. But seriously, a central bank has trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. They have trillions of dollars, way more than what the market is even at, right? Why would they care that you and me, little old us, want to go in and buy one Bitcoin? Seriously, why would they care? And it's because they want to maintain the status quo.
That's right.
They want to continue to be in control, be the 1%. Okay. So that's why you got to be very careful out there. And that's why Charlie Lee is coming out and publicly stating, you need to be into Bitcoin. You need to do this, because as soon as the institutional money comes in, well, guess what? The 1%ers, the wealth, are going to come in and start buying up. And then guess what? No one gets it. At that point in time, it's only the billionaires, you know, that are going to be able to afford it.
I mean, you're not even going to be able to buy a tenth of a Bitcoin. You're not going to buy a hundredth of a Bitcoin.
One Satoshi.
$10,000. Yeah.
You're going to pay thousands of dollars for one Satoshi.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to be doing. I think that's absolutely insanity. But the fact is, it's coming, guys. It's reality. This is coming. So,
and maybe that's why Satoshi Nakamoto has 8 decimal points, so that
True.
we can buy one Satoshi, which might cost us $10,000.
Yeah.
If it's, you know.
Yeah, true. So I there's some validity behind what he's saying. Now, on to kind of change gears and get off of that a little bit, let's talk about Litecoin. Let's talk about Litecoin and Token Pay and the Swiss bank, or whatever it is.
German bank.
I cannot remember the name of that bank in Germany. But anyway, so last week, Litecoin took over the shares, the 9.9% of Token Pay's shares in that bank. Okay. And then Token Pay turned around and bought another 9.9%. So now they own close to 20%. They're doing their maximum that they can do without having to go through regulatory processes.
Right.
Okay. So basically they're trying to take over that bank, and that bank told them flat out, we want to sell it to you. We want to do this. So I know Token Pay has been trying to get through the regulatory process so that they can own more than 9.9% of the bank. But so far it looks like they found their way around it. They'll just bring it in. They'll partner with another token to come in and buy another 9.9%. But I thought it was quite funny, because in that interview with Charlie Lee, he actually said they didn't buy the 9.9% from Token Pay. Token Pay gave it to them, so they go buy another 10%.
Like we talked about, he may be trying to just keep doing that in order to get the full bank into crypto hands.
Sure.
And so, or at least 51% of it, so that might be what he's aiming for. And with Token Pay's price keeps going up, they're bringing in money. So,
yeah, where are they at today? What is Token Pay at today? They're at $4.10.
But even they have come down a little bit, haven't they?
Let's look at their 7-day. I thought they were up higher than that. They were
around 7 or something, weren't they?
A week ago they were at 4.5. So a week ago they were at 4.5. So I just pulled up their 7-day, but I just wanted to see recently what they were at. Their peak that they were at was, I thought,
they were over $10 at one point.
Much higher than that, but I don't know when that was, to tell you the truth, guys.
April of this year, they were at 10.45.
Is that what it was in April? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was right after they hit the market. That was right after they released. So that was the big push. Like we see all ICOs get a really big push right after the ICOs release the coins and everything, and they're on exchange. That's where you see that, and that's where they had first come out. Was in April. So that's where it's at. Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, they bounced around a little bit. They were down to $2. You guys think, guys, this was a coin that was $1 at ICO. So, I mean, it's still a really good investment. You're 400 times your investment. You're 400%, not 400 times. For 4 times, 400% over what you invested at right now.
Yeah.
That's still really, really good. So, and if you own Token Pay, I mean, you probably already know you can how they do that, where they give you more. You stake it. They do staking. So if you're staking it, holding it, you put it in. It's basically a wallet that you put on your desktop, and you hold it in there and stake it. Show that you're not selling it. You're hodling it. They consider you basically an investor, and they give you dividends off of it. It's really what it comes down to. But it's called staking. So for how much you hold, you get a percentage of what they release every month back to the public for the guys that are holding it. So it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting coin to get into if you haven't looked. But yeah, $4 right now. I expect them to be around a long time being in the banking industry now.
So we've got Sean Witzel on here saying hi guys, and can I come in live with you?
Sure, if you can do it.
Hey Sean, welcome to the program. Let's see. How do I bring you on live? Man, that's with this one. I'm not sure. I'd have to invite you the same way as Vance. So,
do 3 at a time.
Yeah, I can add him.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me see. All right, keep talking. I'll see if I can.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean, lots and lots of news that's been coming out. So we talked about Coinbase bringing on. Let's talk about. I actually want to go back to Coinbase a little bit. We hit this before that they actually are bringing out, and this is another thing to where big money is going to kind of play a big role here in the future. Coinbase has set up specific products for institutional products for institutional investors, and it could be private investors too. If you've got your EITN number and basically kind of have like a portfolio that you're doing, but basically they are doing an index fund right now for institutional investors. So basically they'll actually do a weighted kind of basket of assets, I guess you'd say a wallet, on the assets that they have listed on Coinbase. So right now you've got the 4 or 5 coins that they have listed, but it would be weighted on that based on market capitalization. So of course you're going to have more Bitcoin than everything else. But basically there's no performance fee on it. They just do a management fee. It's like a 2% management fee. But this is now back to the point of like almost hedge funds that they're getting into for institutional investors, which I think is quite interesting. If you go on their site, you can actually see a lot of what they're doing, but their minimum investment on these is $250,000. So you've got to have quite a bit to invest with them. But this is where they know the future of their products are going to be, because the little bit that you and I are throwing in every month, or every so often when we want to go in and buy a little bit more, that's going to be a side product for them. I mean, that's just going to be a little bonus that they're doing on the side, because they're going to be working on these institutional products, their suite of institutional products. So right now they've got 4 or 5 different products. They actually have a Coinbase Prime that they're going to be launching that has all the like the graphs, the spreadsheets, everything, kind of like you would see over on Binance and all that stuff. I mean, that's going to be in there. But it's only for institutional investors. There's, like I said, we're setting up stuff for just institutional. The same time, they're making themselves very liquid on the products that they are on the assets that they offer too, so that institutions can come in and buy large amounts. So if you think about it, Coinbase actually holds the coins that they're selling. So they're going to be holding Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum. They're holding this as much as possible. So as of I think they said in December of last year, their year-end earnings were over $1 billion. So wow. Coinbase made over $1 billion last year, and 90% of that came in December of last year when Bitcoin was worth so much, because that they were taking higher returns because the coin was so high, on their percentages. So, and they talked about how it was kind of funny. They know it was 90% because the fact is, within January, February this year, their revenues dropped 90%. So they've been coming back up. So that's why they're doing these custom suites of new products that are coming out. So I thought, it's quite interesting. You can go take a look at this. Just go and search it. Just, they have a blog out, Coinbase, blog.coinbase.com. But you can actually go in there and see all their stuff. They're actually launching a partnership with the SEC regulated broker dealer side. So basically, if someone wants to launch ICOs, things like that, they're going to be set up to be able to do that with you. Kind of how what Token Pay has done with their bank over in Germany. You can go do it there with them. They're going to be doing that here in the US, and they're going to be SEC regulated to be able to do that. But right now, I think they said that their liquid assets that they have that they store is around 20 billion, guys, the 20 billion mark. And that's across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. And is it just the 4? I thought that they have 5 now, but that it'll be across the 5 that they're looking at. So
Bitcoin Cash.
So yeah, they're going to be doing that across the 5 more. I think that's why they haven't been bringing them on as much as they want to. I think they want to bring in more coins, really, to tell you the truth, but they've had to wait for the SEC regulation on whether it's going to be, how are they going to categorize new coins and all that stuff. So they got to be careful with that. But at the same time, think about it, how much they've got to invest in the back side of this to be able to hold that amount of coin when you want to come in and buy it, because they're not an exchange like Binance or Bittrex or any of those where it's Brian and I selling back and forth with each other. I mean, you get on there and sell, but you're selling to Coinbase. So Coinbase is holding. So when you go in and bring, and this is why there's fiat involved. They're one of the only places that actually exchange fiat, is because why? They're banking Bitcoin in the background. So when you go in and say, I want to buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, it's because they're already holding it. And that's where they get it, and they take your money and then they'll go invest it and try and buy more. But they're selling it really not a discount to you, but you're paying up for it 10%. They take a 10%. Right. They take a 10% discount on you, basically, when you're buying Bitcoin from them or Ethereum or any of the other ones. Okay, so I think that's just to kind of understand how their business is going is pretty interesting, to say the least. I mean, I get amazed at it, to tell you the truth, how much money they have involved. But they took over $1 billion last year in fees, basically. That's all it is in fees, guys. Fees. They did $1 billion, and they're looking at $1.5 billion this year. Will they hit it? I really do think they're going to hit it, and it's all going to be in month 12.
They might double it.
They might double that, yeah. But I mean, looking at the new suite of the institutional products that they're going to be doing, I mean, just to manage someone's portfolio, their blockfolio, really is what it is. You'll have a blockfolio on there, minimum $250,000, and they take 2% to manage it for you. So,
all they're doing is holding it.
Yeah, and they're just going to be holding it in their wallet, in their wallet for you. Yep. And then they're going to be launching
your keys.
Right, and then they're going to be launching the Coinbase Prime application too. There's a few in there you can go look at. They've got one called Coinbase Markets. I haven't really looked at that one that much, but the Coinbase Prime I looked at just because it made their service just like going back to Binance and all these, where you're looking at your buy and sell options. And I think they're going to be putting the short and long options in there too for options. So I think that's where they're going to be doing that too. Just like if you guys use BitMEX at all, that's what they do there. But it looks like they're going to have that option just from the screenshots I put in there. But again, these are institutional products only. It's not going to be for the little guys, you and us. So I think that's quite interesting. So this is where we're seeing, basically the industry starting to gear up for the Wall Street money that's going to be coming in, and who knows what, I mean, we've got 6 different exchanges out there, stock exchanges that are coming out with their own crypto exchanges. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to accept fiat on top of that? We know Binance is bringing in euro as their fiat to start taking euro. And they said that they want to start taking USD as well. And that's going to go with everything that they offer. Every coin that's on their platform, you're going to be able to buy in on that. So, and to tell you the truth, I think this is where Coinbase has kind of gone to the institutional side, because once Binance actually does that, you and I are going to be going to them over Coinbase.
Oh yeah.
It's just going to be so much easier, because why buy it on I mean, in case of Electroneum, why buy Bitcoin on Coinbase and then send it over to wherever, KuCoin or wherever, to try and buy Electroneum or Tron or Monero or any of the ones that aren't on Coinbase, when
Right.
a lot of that is on Binance and they're going to start taking fiat. It'll be direct buy. You don't have to pay for the transfer fees or any of the percentages that you're going to get hit with the transaction fees.
Yep.
You know, from the exchanges. So, I mean, that's where Coinbase basically is going to lose out when Binance gets that up. I'm fairly certain on that. But
they're totally going to have to change their model.
But I think that's why they are. They're going to the institutional side, the SEC regulated institutional side, because they know that U.S. institutional money is going to be coming in, and there's trillions of that in the market.
To put it. Yep.
Right. There's trillions of that's become. So why not have the products ready to go? And so why people are still waiting on Wallstreet and the exchange and those exchanges to get their crypto exchanges up and running. And will they even have these products? We don't know. You know, most of the time that's more like the hedge fund side of things that basically we're looking at here with Coinbase. So I mean, there's some differences that are going to happen, and that's why I'm saying you and I being able to buy crypto through Coinbase is going to just be a little side product for them. Because why? There's going to be other exchanges out there that are going to start taking crypto. And there are more than just Binance, by the way. There are other exchanges out there. Kraken is one that is here in the U.S. I think they're a California exchange that's fairly new, but they're talking about they actually already do fiat exchange for just, I don't know, a few, but they're talking about bringing in like everything off of Coin Market Cap, all 1,600 listed on Coin Market Cap. They want to bring them all in on their exchange, and you can do fiat there. So basically kind of a Binance deal.
Yeah.
But that's Kraken here in the US, and they're quite a bit smaller. They're newer than Coinbase, but that's what they're looking at doing. So, I mean, there's going to be other options out there just besides Coinbase to do a fiat exchange. They were just the first to the punch because why? The crypto industry is so new. I mean, we're still in our infancy. So that's why they've been making $1 billion last year. Because really there was no competition for them, and that's going to change now that more and more people, the mass adoption side starts coming in. So, and then of course the institutional money. So,
I think we're in for a huge surprise, you know, and everything, you know, people are still down on it and stuff like that. And I can just see it one day. You're going to wake up, or the middle of the afternoon, you'll be looking at your blockfolio, and it's, you know, whatever it is, and a couple hours later, you're going to go, holy crap, what just happened?
Yeah.
Because you're just going to see it start flooding in.
Right. And then, Sean, you're saying that Zcash will be on Coinbase too. Yes. Zcash was one of the 5 that they listed. And I don't know if you've put those up, Brian, or not. I just saw that as a little bit ago, but sorry.
We were talking about Ox and ADA, and I couldn't remember the other one.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not reading the comments. I'm looking at my other screen.
Now, that's not something that, I mean, they have not approved. They're saying that's something that they're looking at. And I don't know if it's just to, I don't know what they're doing. You know, sometimes they could be in cahoots with Zcash and ADA to, hey, just speculate on us, you know, help our prices go up, which we've seen them all go up.
Right.
But they also could have a real chance of being on there as well.
Right. And I don't think they're in cahoots with them, but I think there could be an ulterior motive on it too, to say, let's buy all this stuff and throw it out there and try and cash out on it a little bit and basically beef up their liquidity of it so that when they do go live, they've got more and more sitting in that back account waiting for you to come in and buy it with your fiat. Okay. So there could be alternative motives, but I don't think they're in cahoots with Zcash or ADA or Stellar or anything like that. I mean, but they could be manipulating it a little bit on their side.
And that's more of what I mean. Yeah. So,
which seems to be really easy to do these days. So.
I mean, all I did was say, hey, we're looking at adding these coins. Well, that's huge, you know, for that coin. Certainly gives them a lot of credibility, and people start buying them up thinking, man, if they get onto Coinbase, then they're going to be that much easier to buy. And if I want to get on and change my fiat and buy ADA directly, and that's huge.
Yeah.
So that's why I want Ripple. Was Ripple on the list too? I thought Ripple was.
Ripple's on the list.
They weren't even on the list, huh?
And here's the thing, though, too, is that's another thing that came out in the news finally, that the way Ripple was set up, that they're not I don't think they were listed as a security either now. But they were 100% basically a go to be able to be put on Coinbase, because Coinbase didn't want to throw them on there. I think if they were security, I think that's what the issue was in the past. I'm trying to find that article now,
which is what they're going through with right now to determine if it is a security.
The article came out, I thought, that was saying that Ripple was not a security, and that they were 100% go to be able to put on Coinbase, but then Coinbase never came back, and seemed like that was over the weekend or something. I saw an article on that, but then Coinbase, could have been the end of last week, I don't remember, basically didn't even respond to say they were going to bring them on. So I think I think institutions like Coinbase are staying away from Ripple, to tell you the truth, because I don't know if they're all on board with Ripple.
Right.
I just and it's not Ripple anymore. Ripple's the parent company that owns XRP. So XRP is its own now. They've rebranded it. But it is XRP, whether they would bring them in or not. They haven't said they're going to. In fact, that was before they announced the 5 coins that they were looking at. So that came out before that. And then even after the fact, XRP was saying, okay, we're clear to go. Coinbase can put us on now. And they were kind of calling out Coinbase. That was last week about that.
That's right. That's right.
And
we talked about that.
Yeah, they kind of called out Coinbase on that a little bit. Coinbase didn't respond. And then instead of responding, they actually just put out another article saying, here's the 5 coins we're looking at. So they kind of snubbed them a little bit. And I wonder, I really wonder why. I mean,
I wonder if that, to some extent, a lot of the cryptocurrency community does not like Ripple. Flat out hates Ripple.
Right.
Hates that they don't have
the
banks.
Greatest. Yeah, they don't have the greatest.
Maybe Coinbase doesn't want to alienate those people that might be buying from them.
True.
So, over one coin. So
and that's the thing. I mean, XRP is a little bit different in the way it was set up, the way it was developed. And I mean, it does have some major backers in it, because they are in cahoots with the banking industry. But I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is for Coinbase on why they're not bringing them in. And I don't know, maybe they don't want to, they're still trying to keep themselves separate from the banking industry, because I mean, that's truly what crypto is.
Right.
It's not going to be that the banking industry is going to take over crypto. It's more the crypto we're seeing is going to start taking over the banking industry. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Well, man, there's definitely been a lot of news to talk about. The hour goes by quickly. Yeah.
So, but I mean, just in a nutshell, that's kind of what we've been seeing lately. Lots of good stuff coming out this week, and I think it's positive. I mean, we've seen good gains in the market, which is good. I kind of like where we're headed now. We're not in that downward motion anymore. It seems we kind of finally bottomed out and started steadily coming up a little bit. So.
But we need to be prepared. The Bitcoin could have, it jumped up a week in $1,000 in a week. It could certainly jump down $1,000.
Oh yeah, we've seen. I mean, we watch it jump $200 in a day or drop $200 in a day easily.
Well, in the old days, we watched it go $500-$600 down, $500-$600 up. I mean, it was all over the place.
But that at $20,000, but at 20,000, 16,000, that's actually a smaller percentage than it would be now at 7,000, Yeah. Yep. But when you get those bigger numbers, your percentages become a lot hurt or can help a lot more, at that point in time. I think that's kind of funny, but yeah, you just gotta.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it drops back into the 6,000s again in the next few days or sometime. I mean, it just won't surprise me at all.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball to actually be able to see that. So.
Going back to Charlie Lee's theory on that as well, because we've always talked about it a little bit. Why, it feels like you've kind of missed the boat on Bitcoin and the opportunity to make a lot of money with it. Well, if you can buy a Bitcoin at $7,000 or whatever right now, and it goes to $1 million, then I don't think you missed your opportunity. Would have been nice to have 10 Bitcoin, but the other thing that we've talked about is we buy into some of these coins, and for instance, Electronium, which is around a penny right now. If I put $10,000 into Electronium, it only needs to go up, or excuse me, $7,000 even. It only needs to go to 2 cents. It needs to go up 1 penny to double my money. Where Bitcoin's got to go up $7,000 to double my money. So we've always kind of thought we could make money with the altcoins and then transfer some of that back into Bitcoin to hold it as Bitcoin.
Right. And that was, I had that discussion earlier in a group on Facebook earlier, just talking with a few people about how, yes, ETN is still a good investment. And that's why I explained, well, I got in at ICO. I was lucky enough to get an ICO with the bonuses. Okay. So really, if it goes up 1 penny, we make 120% on our investment from ICO. If it goes up 1 cent, okay, we make 120%. Now, is that better than investing into Bitcoin? Well, for rapid gains at the beginning, yes, it is. But if you look at long term, I think just because Bitcoin's going to be held like gold, is really what it comes down to. And if that's going to be bought up quick and be held like what Charlie is saying, then I want a little bit of, I need both. I need both of my portfolio. Okay. Yeah. I need to hold that for the real long term, because why? If I am able to get 1 Bitcoin right now and it's worth $1 million in a few years, and who knows, 10 million, 100 million beyond that, I mean, that's some serious, that's some serious gain off of quite a bit less of an investment than I would think about trying to get the same gain of Electronium when there's billions of those coins instead of just millions of Electronium, or sorry, of Bitcoin. And Electronium's not going to be a hold coin. It's going to be a daily use coin.
Yes.
Okay. For paying for bills, things like that. That's what they're trying to make it. I mean, that's what the instant pay system is for. And that's I kind of see that the same for Litecoin. It's kind of looked in the same way because they have a fast blockchain. I could see Litecoin, even though Litecoin's $100, right? What is Litecoin at right now?
It was at 70 something. It's 86 right now.
86, right? But I mean, we've been over $100 with Litecoin.
Oh yeah.
And they have a fast one. I don't think a Litecoin is considered a hold coin. I mean, it was one of the big three. It's not in third place anymore, but it was one of the big three because it's been around for a while.
Right.
But the fact is, with Litecoin, they have a quick system, set up on their blockchain. I see why they're getting in with token pay on the banking side of things, because why? That would help out quite a bit. You and I kind of talked about that earlier, that a quick blockchain would help out in the banking industry, at least in what they're trying to do as well. And they already had the privacy side of things with Verge too. So I mean, you can kind of see they got their fingers in a lot of different things. But if you had $1,000, where would you want to invest it? Would it be just in Litecoin? No, I don't think that's a wise decision. I mean, you might want to buy 1 Litecoin and hold it, and then buy a fraction of a Bitcoin and hold it, maybe, and then find something else that you've got a passion for, like we have Electronium. Right now, Cardano would be a good 17 cents for Cardano for ADA. That wouldn't be a bad buy right now, especially with the potential of them going on Coinbase. That could be 30 cents pretty easy.
Yeah.
That could be 30 cents overnight.
I have no doubt it'll go back over $1 too. I mean, it's
right. So there's some potential out there. So just don't throw it all in one place. I mean, look at it as a perspective of what's the coin going to be used for? What's its potential? Well, Bitcoin we know is not going to be held for buying stuff back and forth. I mean, even though you see guys that are buying $1 million sports cars with Bitcoin, I mean, that's fine because Bitcoin's worth a lot of money, but I mean, it's not going to be used because of its transactional purposes. It's because of what its weight is, really.
Yeah. And it's going to be way
that's what it's used for.
So you're not going to want to use it on a daily basis. It's going to be really expensive to use it.
Right. And so that's where we're saying we've got coins out there that have like Litecoin that have a really low transaction cost and a quick transaction blockchain. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a lot easier to use than Bitcoin is. Plus the fact, they're at 57 million Litecoin already out there right now, and they have 87 million Litecoin max supply, which is quite a bit higher than 21 million of Bitcoin. That's why there's a little bit of difference. Okay. And then you've got Cardano, which was already over $1, and they're $1 billion supply. I mean, they're 31 billion max supply. That's what they are. And they're 25 billion circulating supply, and they were already over $1, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that tells you where your potential is. That's why we have such high hopes for Electroneum, because why? They've already got was it a 2 million user base, potential user base, 2 million. I mean, I haven't even looked to see what their current mining, their mobile mining users are right now. I know we were over, was it 200,000? We passed that. I'm sure they're on their way to 300 now. And that's on a daily mining basis using their phones for that. So, and they're at 6 million or 7 million circulating supply right now, with huge potential. So I mean, that one, I really see being able to hit $1 easy. It really is where it comes down to me. I think that's going to hit $1 easy. Yeah. And it's going to be when they start marketing, and of course people start picking it up. And when, of course, now we have their instant payment system coming out. They're patenting everything. They're already taking applications to do the beta testing on the instant payment. Guys, I mean, once that starts going, and there's actually a real world case for it, where most coins don't have that, if any coin even has that.
Right.
They're paving the road. They're paving the way for crypto. And it just takes one big user to start doing that, and guess what? It's history. It takes one big company to start taking payments in ETN, and suddenly everybody knows about it.
So jumping back to Litecoin for a second, it peaked at $370 on December 18th.
Nice.
So it's quite a bit down, and back. Which is crazy because when we were first getting into it a little bit, we could have bought it for $40. So
yeah, and I just looking at the same, like January 3rd is when Cardano ADA peaked at $1.22.
$1.22.
$1.22, and I know you bought it. I know I bought it. I think we were in the pennies at that point in time, right?
Yeah, it was around 5 cents, I think.
Like 4 cents or something like that. Yeah. It was really low when we got back in. So we're still up now, even though it's at 17 cents. We're still way up. I mean, heck, last week when it was at 14 cents, we were still way up on it. But I mean, yeah, think of what we could have cashed out at January on that. But we're not in there to day trade. We're building a portfolio is what we're trying to do.
We could have cashed out on a lot of things. That's for sure. That is
true. So, but yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen at the end of this year. I know we've talked about, we've wanted stuff up, and everything, but I mean, and back to, I mean, other news. I mean, there is more news to talk about. I know that, we kind of talked about how banks have changed gears about how they were saying, we don't want anything to do with crypto, Bitcoin, anything to do with it. And then they turn around and change their perspective and start buying it or start investing with it, or are going to actually make their own exchanges to do it because they suddenly see the light. I mean, we're seeing other countries that this is happening in as well. So we've got China that's been back and forth, and that's a big one now that they're talking about institutional investors. Russia's kind of been the same. South Korea's been the same. That people can't buy it, then they regulate and they say it is. I mean, China right now what has been laxing up a lot of their rules and deals and stuff like that, but now they're coming out saying that it's going to be free for institutional investors. Basically, if you're a company in China, you're going to be free game to go and invest. So what does that mean? And that's why I'm saying, don't tell me that the governments don't have their fingers in it.
Well, and keeping the small guys down,
keeping the small guys down and
want to stay the same.
Right. I mean, so, I do see, not conspiracy, but I'm seeing stuff that they see where they're missing out, and then they're like, nope, we're going to stop this until we can get into it, and make it so that the government kind of knows what's going on, and then they get back into it. But I mean, China's flip-flopped like 3 or 4 times now. No, you can't. Right. Yes, you can. Oh, no, you can't. No, yes, you can, but very limited. And then no, you can't. And now, yes, you can. Oh, and it's going to be free, basically free game for institutional investors. I think that was the last one that came out with China. So, I mean, who knows?
They're going to want in it. They're going to want it. They want to get their piece of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, governments come back and say that, but the guys running the governments have an institutional firm on the backside that they're pocketing the money in. So, I mean, that's always how it goes. You're not in politics to not make money. Let's put it that way. I mean, that's what a lot of guys are in there for, is to make things easier for them on their business side, on their business deals. So, I do think that we're going to see some differences in that, because I know South Korea has done the same thing. Russia actually has, I know Putin isn't really fond of a crypto at all, but I know they've delayed actually their regulation on it. So they actually just announced that, they were gonna come through and start slowing things down and start doing some regulation. And then they just announced just recently that that's going to be put off till like Q4 of this year, the end of the year, because they said, basically the article I read about it said that it was to them, it just felt that it was too complicated to look at right now when they had too much other stuff going on. I don't know what that means, what other stuff is more important to them or whatever's going on in that country. I don't know. But the fact is, I mean, they were more worried about getting other things figured out first so that they could get a better understanding of crypto and then would look at doing it. But there's basically still no regulation in China, or not in China, but in Russia over it. And same with the tax side. There's no taxes on any stuff right now. Right. I think that's where they're trying to figure out how they need to look at this and still make it free enterprise, because that's where a majority of the mining and a lot of stuff has gone into Russia. So they've got to be seeing, okay, this has brought good influx of money and marketing, whatever you want to call it, of just business in our country, because of it. So cool. I think we'll see some better stuff on that in the future as well with other countries. So we could be seeing, institutional money in China, the amount of billionaires that have been created there in the last number of years. Because that's where all the billionaires are at now, are in China. That's where the majority of them are. Think about the institutional money that would come from that. So I'm just saying, I know there's more than just the U.S. and Wall Street that's going to be coming in. That we still have a global aspect to look at other than that. So, and a lot of countries doing their own regulations. So it's still a lot of stuff up in the air, guys.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and like I said, I just think it's going to change any day, and we're gonna, people are gonna start FOMO, and it's going to go crazy. So yeah. So, but like we're telling you guys, you need to be in. You got to pay to play. You know that it's not going to be free. There is free airdrops, but that's not going to make you money. $100 here and there on an airdrop is it's nice to put into your portfolio just to say, okay, I got a little bit of this. Let's see what happens. Maybe it might go up, make you a couple $1,000s in the future. Who knows? But to pay to play, right now we're seeing it's getting harder and harder. You had the best. You had $6,000 Bitcoin a couple weeks ago. Yep.
You couldn't have beat that. That's the lowest it's been, all year. So you weren't going to be able to beat that. That would have been a great time to get in and buy. And it's gone up a little bit now. It's at 7,300. Still a great time. It's still lower than 20 grand.
And you could wait. You could wait and see. Maybe it'll drop down to $6,300 again. Maybe it'll go up to $8,500.
True.
I mean, this is what happened to us last fall. It just kept going up and up, and it's like, oh, okay, let's wait for it to go back down. No, there it went up another 1,000.
Yep.
And next thing you know, you're buying it at $15,000. You're only buying a little bit of it, maybe, but that's what you're paying for it, so you can buy other coins.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that did that. Luckily, I didn't, but there's a lot of people that did that. So.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, good stuff tonight, Vance.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed our broadcast. If you're watching it afterwards, because we always post these up in our forums, our groups, and everything. So. If you're, looking at later and you have questions, just send us a message on Facebook. Just respond to the email or to the video that we post up. There's plenty of people in these groups that would love to talk to you about it. And if you've got friends, bring them into the groups. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to come in. And if you've got questions, throw it up. If you see good news articles, throw it up. So it's not nothing that the group, that's what we're here for, is for everybody to kind of learn and see and discuss. So we want you to participate as much as possible.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all being here tonight. So Vance, thank you for everything you've looked up today and given us. And we appreciate the knowledge. So have a great night, everybody.
All right. See you next week.
All right. See you next week, 9:00 Mountain Standard Time.